Ready for roll call? Okay.
Yes.
Call the meeting to order. And Amy, if you take the roll.
Mayor Bogenreith,
Here.
Ms. Hoffman,
Here.
Mr. Tucker,
Here.
Ms. Burhoop. Here. Ms. Strain.
Here.
And we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. First order of business, we're going to swear in new Commissioner Vince Tucker, actually incumbent
There
Vince
you go.
Tucker, but you have an oath I think you need to read.
Yep. I, Vincent Tucker, having been elected to a 3-year term of the office of Commissioner within the city of North Sioux City and said county and state, do swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the state of South Dakota, and the ordinances of the city of North Sioux City, and that I will faithfully and impartially, to the best of my knowledge and ability, perform all of the duties of my office as Commissioner. I will render a true account of all money, credit accounts, and property of any kind that may come into the hands while performing my duties.
All right.
Amen.
Thank you.
Is there an amen at the end?
Oh, amen.
Amen.
Is there an amen? All right, thank you, Vince.
Thank you.
Look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And then we'll look for a motion to approve the June 1st regular meeting minutes.
So moved.
Is Amy recording?
Yeah, hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
As long as you're good. We're making motions.
Add the wrong minutes with me.
All right, so we have a motion and a second.
By who?
I-
I'm sorry.
On the June 1st, I think I have to abstain because I wasn't here, so.
And I was
I-
not here either.
I'll second that. Oh, I guess I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Get this-
I'll second.
we were the only one.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And then we'll look for a motion for the June 5th canvassing meeting.
Make the motion to approve.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same
I have to
sign.
abstain.
Okay. All right, Commissioner, Department Head, and Community Board reports.
All right, I'll start out. I'd like to take this opportunity and congratulate Amy Lilly as the new Finance Officer of the Year.
For the entire state of South Dakota.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
big deal.
Congratulations, Amy.
Thank you. Thank you for nominating me.
That was presented to her last Thursday in Chamberlain at the Finance Officers Association meeting, and it's an award given by the South Dakota Municipal League and the South Dakota Finance Officers Association. So congratulations, Amy. Just a couple other items, and then I'm going to have a couple other people come up, but the boat ramp is now accepting fees for access to the lake. There hasn't been a lot of use of it yet, but as time goes by, we'll report back to you the number of people coming in and out. I just came back from the housing conference, and, you know, the one takeaway I would have from that is Union Crossing is a project that people are talking about in the state and the circles of housing development, so that's definitely a positive thing. And I really am excited, some of the stuff I learned that HRC can do to help us continue to develop housing opportunities in North Sioux City. And it's not necessarily new development so much as it is just taking advantage of what's already available for lots and properties. So I'm looking forward to continuing to work with HRC to kind of further that effort. At this point, I'd like to just introduce our new library director. Hannah, you want to come up and introduce yourself? Hannah's our new library director, has started June 1st.
Hi, I'm Hannah Mostard. I am the new director, and I am from Vermillion, but I taught Dakota Valley for a couple of years prior. My son goes to Dakota Valley, my older son, and he'll be a freshman this year in high school. Prior to being a director, I taught for 18 years, combination of elementary, middle school, and then a few years as an elementary librarian, which is actually what really got me excited about this potential position, and I'm truly enjoying it so far. Couple of things we've had going on in the library. Obviously, our summer reading program has kicked off. Leanne decided not to do the full summer reading kickoff party. I'm sure that was probably somewhat disappointing to some of the families around here because it sounds like it's been quite a successful event in the past. She retired at the end of May, and that would have literally been my first day on the job. So I'm sort of thankful that she decided to not do that this year for my sake, but we are throwing around some ideas of doing something perhaps at the end of the summer, combining perhaps with the police department and doing some things that way, maybe even a back to school kind of thing. But those are just some of the ideas. We have had a lot of people showing up for our events, which is awesome. The only thing different that I've perhaps been doing is sharing Facebook posts and putting things out there a little bit more, and I think that actually is reaching more people. Today we actually had rough count of about 150 people show up for our magic show, Travis and I magic show today, and we had some people from South Sioux that said they saw it on Facebook, and they've come to a couple of our events, so we're kind of already starting to burst at the seams a little bit, which, I mean, we want people to come and visit our library, whether, you know, they're from here or elsewhere, to be able to utilize some of the services. So anyway, that is kind of what I've been up to so far in the library. I've got some ideas. We're going to be putting in a patron counter here pretty soon. I wish we would have had it today. Up to now, up to until that gets installed, we've been literally hand tallying from what we can tell based on as people come in, and that'll help much more with reports and stuff to have an accurate count. But that's going to be coming in here in the next week or so, hopefully. I've talked to a couple of landscape companies, local landscape companies, about putting in some landscaping around the perimeter of the library. When it was built, they obviously set it up so that it could have plants and flowers and things around it, but there's nothing there, it's just rocks. So I'm kind of a lover of flowers and landscaping myself, so that was kind of one of my first asks of Jeff Dooley when I started. Could I do this? And absolutely. So we're looking at a couple of options for that. And I'd be happy to, you know, reach out, answer any questions, or if you have questions as we're going, feel free to, you know, day to day, feel free to reach out to me at the library.
Thanks, Hannah.
No problem.
Yeah, welcome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You know, I would say I've talked to Hannah a couple of times, and I think we can look forward to some exciting things at the library moving forward. Her and MJ have a lot of energy, and I think we'll look forward to a new perspective on the library and some new things moving forward. So with that, I'd like to invite you two, Jay and
Rusty.
Rusty, thank you, up here to talk to you a little bit about Zerhoff at the last meeting had brought up some safety concerns, and I asked Jay and Rusty to kind of address those for you tonight.
Jay Mathis, Fire Marshal, North Sioux City. Just want to kind of highlight some points. I gave you guys a response letter back to the community. I have some extra copies if people in the public want them tonight too, or I can get more. Basically, just want to address the community questions regarding the fire hydrants, fire code requirements, roadway access, and basically fire department operations within North Sioux City and the Dakota Valley Fire District. As Fire Marshal, I serve as the authority having jurisdiction for the enforcement of the adopted International Fire Code 2024. My responsibilities include fire code enforcement, inspections, investigations, oversight of fire protection systems, as well as I'm a paramedic and helping on fire scenes. So our fire hydrants are strategically placed throughout the community at a space of 300 feet. So well a distance we can reach for any fire need. We do carry about 1,000-inch of 5-inch hose in our fire truck, so if we had to lay a line in, we could basically lay a 5-inch water main right on top of the road to reach any place that's on fire or we need the access to. Most of our fire hydrants are public owned. However, 49 hydrants are privately owned in our district or in our community of North Sioux. Those have to be maintained annually and inspected and they had reports sent to me annually when they're inspected. So I have a software program that monitors all the fire systems in our community. When they're serviced, that company has to log in and file a report. If they don't, they get reminders from the system. It's automatic. But I'm constantly on top. I see who's deficient and where they're deficient, so I'm always monitoring those systems. We test them throughout the town by flushing them. We're kind of on a 3-year plan, trying to hit at least 1/3 of them every year, and that suits our jurisdiction well. So we're basically in the same flow through all the hydrants. So we spot check areas. We have testing for pressure restrictions or requirements in certain areas when they come to town, put a sprinkler system into that, and we take those reports and monitor those. So, but consistent pressures throughout the whole town with our 12-inch mains. We require the 36-inch clearance. Big thing to point out, he said NFPA had a lot of standards. NFPA is a recommendation for the fire service. We follow the fire code here in South Dakota, so we go by the fire code first, but we do refer to NFPA guidelines. So it's more of a recommendation, but a lot of times the fire code overrules that. So, yeah, the color hydrants in the Midwest, typically our fire hydrants are red. Sioux City has yellow fire hydrants. As far as coloring the domes, a lot of certain areas will have that for pressure reasons. We don't have that requirement basically for the size of community we are here. If we had a special needs place, a chemical facility or a plant that may need higher pressures, we would require those, but they're not required for the businesses we have now or the public areas we have now. Roadway access, Sutter Drive meets the required widths for our apparatus. Basically, we can fit between 2 parked cars down the middle of the road. We're not hitting a high speed from that stop sign. We're not going to hit 60 miles an hour before union crossings, so it's pretty controlled there, as long as people pull over. So, other than that, on behalf of the department remains vigilant as far as enforcing fire codes and keeping our public safe. My main job is just fire codes. That's the main hat I wear in the department, and making sure our public's safe. Working with Rusty on fire scenes. A lot of times he's out on the fire scene with us initially to ensure we have water flow. So everything's working good as far as safety that way. Anything to add? Or?
Yeah, I would just like to add that I'm in constant communication with the fire department. We work well together. Anytime there's an issue with a hydrant I find or they find, we get it straightened out or come with a plan of attack if we can't fix it. A lot of times if I'm not there, I get a phone call from someone on the fire department and I can remotely turn pumps on and pump more water from my phone. I've done that before in the last structure fire we've had. So we are in constant communication, and I feel that we're above and beyond. And the reason I say that is a lot of these new apartments had to have fire flow tests recently, and now these new buildings for their insurance have to have them. I help perform those tests with those companies. It's for them, not necessarily us, so I don't have the report. But there was 5 fire flow tests in the last year and a half off our structures between the new apartments and some of the buildings in the business district. So we're well above minimum standard of 500 gallons a minute. So I'm aware some of them need painted, they're looking a little rough, but we're on a program working on that. So that's all I have. Any questions?
I'd just like to thank both of you for responding in a manner that everyone in the community can take advantage of to see that. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, if the community has any questions, I work Monday through Friday. I think I'm available by email, by phone. I'll always respond to any type, whether it's home safety questions to commercial to public safety. I'm pretty flexible, pretty knowledgeable in all those verses. I can report back easily.
Adding to what Jay's saying, I would like to just take a second, though, to remind people that you don't have to wait to come to commission meetings to dump a bucket load of questions that cause a state of unnecessary panic throughout the community, making them feel unsafe, when we have highly qualified, certified people who take their jobs very seriously to make sure that we're all safe in North Sioux City every day. So I encourage you to call City Hall and we'll get you in touch with the right people right now.
Yeah. As far as our fire district size is kind of on the smaller size to have a fire marshal employed. So that's kind of a unique thing for our district. As well as that, we're hired a chief. He'll be starting the first week of August. He's excited to get on board. He's getting ready to move in here. He's going to close on his house the next couple of weeks, so he'll be in here shortly. I'll bring him back in August, so you guys can all meet him. We have a new ambulance coming on board this, about September timeframe. So at that time, we'll have 3 advanced life support ambulances to provide the community. Right now, we've been maintaining it with 2, so adding a 3rd one. Not that we need a 3rd one yet, but we want to be ahead of the game that way. So, and also, we're looking at constructing a new fire tower, burn tower, for training purposes, to better train our guys and keep them better in shape and better qualified to be in the communities. So a lot of big things happening.
Cool. Thank you for the update.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thanks for keeping us safe.
That's all I have.
Okay.
I have a little bit, Chris.
Sure.
I had put another payment register by everybody's desk that didn't get put in the packet, but they are our annual payments for TIF number 3, which is the Wildflower Bend TIF. These are annual payments that we make, but looking at the fund itself, after these payments are made, that fund's going to have $266,000 in it, which is enough to pay off the loan from Liberty National. It consists of 2 loans, a Liberty National and a First Financial. The Liberty National has higher interest rate, and we have enough cash to pay that off. And with the taxes coming in through the TIF, we should be able to pay off the First Financial one within a year. So this TIF was started in 2017, and by 2027, we'll be done with it.
10 years early.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Let's see. All right. Community input. If anyone has something that's not on the agenda they would like to address, please come forward.
My name is Robert Baker, and I own North Sioux Self-Storage. I'll just hand out these so you can take a quick look at these, and I've got some things to say.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you need to, we'll just pass them on down to the commissioners.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. I've just got a few things to say, and I'll be quick about it, and I'll be under my 3 minutes here. I want to thank you for the time I've got to spend up here. I am finishing my storage building development at 109 South Derby Lane. I started this project with a building permit in May 17, 2021. We graded, filled the site, added about $150,000 of on-site underground stormwater detention. We're now at the point to finish the final piece of this redevelopment and occurring issues that you may be able to help me with. In June 2024, 2 years ago, we put a plan together to complete this redevelopment. On January of this year, I submitted a building permit with engineered plans. In the middle of February, Gary Rowan requested that my engineer contact the city engineer, Ross Kucha, to discuss the permit application. On January 30th, my engineer received a letter requesting 10 comments on the submitted plan. Item number 1, right-of-way, within 80 foot centered on the street. The development has based approval from the city of North Sioux City and Gary Rowan. One fact that has been lost in all of this, I own the 300 feet of the west half of South Derby Lane. I own half of Derby Lane. The city has an unclear easement to use that property for a street. In 2020, when I asked the council who was responsible to insure and who is taxed on this property, the council at the time said they would get right back to me. Crickets. I met with Jeff Dooley, asked the same question on March 24th of this year, and he said he would get back to me. Crickets. I asked Jeff the same question, or excuse me, I'm getting lost here. I can assure you I am taxed and insure this property. You will notice the survey markings on the street are painted out there they're about a foot on the east side towards Casey's from the center line of the street. Item number 2, 40-foot setback. The setback will be the same as the current buildings and no more. Item number 3, total ground area covered shall not exceed 80% of impervious objects. Currently, the property has concrete, which covers more than 80%. We are not going to increase the concrete any more than what has been there for the last 45 years. Item 4 states, fence height limits. We don't have any fences in this plan. In fact, we're going to take down 200 foot of existing fence. So I don't know why there's a requirement listed for fencing. Item number 5, drainage and contour arrows. This is what was provided on the original plan. Item 6, location and elevation of connections to city water and sewer. This has been provided. Item 7, heights and structural details of the building. We can't get engineered plans for the building until we go through this approval for the city. To get these plans would cost $50,000 for the deposit on the buildings, and we can't do that until we get through these 10 items. Item 8, erosion and sediment control. This is easy. The site will be maintained the same as the last 6 buildings that we built. Had no problems with those. Provide a restoration plan. Site will be restored as with the same concrete as it currently has, no more. Post-construction stormwater runoff control. The post-construction discharges cannot exceed pre-construction conditions. Provide calculations of existing below-ground detention system. We've provided all of that. We gave all those calculations in 2021 when approved, and currently again for ground not covered in this project. Adam Nigels quoted to me that they're going back to correct anything that the current administration did not agree with from past administrations. The water retention plan cost me $150,000 and is working perfectly. We did not allow any water to flow onto neighboring properties. I cannot say that for the neighboring properties we have to the north, which their water flows onto our property. When we're making progress on the development, I asked Jeff Dooley to meet me at the site. We met on the site March 24th. Jeff, Andrew's intern, and Ross Kucha drove down from Sioux Falls. We reviewed the plans, and on the site, Jeff asked Ross if the city could be behind this plan. It was a yes. Ross advised that we should go to the Board of Adjustment for variance on setback, 80% impervious area, and detention. I have a copy of this email stating that. Jeff asked Ross to put together a timeline and duty list that we could get this accomplished. I received the email from Ross the next day and immediately submitted the paperwork to complete this request. I delivered application to the city. Soon after, I heard from Andrew, and his response was that I was wasting my time and money to go through this process. So all this discussion that we had was thrown out the window. After 6 months of trying to improve the property, my engineer has now quit. He has given me the reason that he cannot work with the city of North Sioux City administration in a reasonable professional manner, and that going back to change prior city approved development is crazy. I have been asked to take out my fence, change my water retention, remove concrete from a city approved plan of 2020. I'm asking for your assistance to help me get on the same page as the city. We try to be a good neighbor and business in the community, but it's getting difficult to do so when rules keep getting changed, discussions get overridden, and agreements are not kept. And you're told that Gary Rowan is not allowed to talk to you or take phone calls from you. I just want to get along. Please help me get this figured out so I can move ahead. Thank you for your time.
All right, thanks for bringing that up. We'll take it under consideration and get you some type of response.
Thank you, because we just need to get going on this. I mean, this has been 6 months. We've been going back and forth in different stories. I got emails. One email says one thing, next email says something else when it comes from either Andrew or Jeff or Ross. It's different stories, and we all get on the same page and get things done. We were trying to be nice. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Anna?
I'm already on that one. I just have a couple questions. Jeff, did you find out if they were going to remove that pile of dirt on my yard?
I was not able to attend the meeting today, but we can find out.
Okay. And then on
That,
the,
it might be is it in the right of way
yeah, it's on the,
on the line?
no, it's
I
on the.
looked at the pile. I did not talk to anybody about it yet.
Okay. And then on my drive on Penrose, there's some pieces of concrete that are broken up as you approach the drive.
Okay.
I think they did something once before, but there's, when those big trucks were going in and out of there, they
On
kind of.
Penrose?
Yeah, on my drive on Penrose and that, so, yes. But I do appreciate you guys giving us updates on what's going on. That helps a lot. And I know that the mailman, I talked to him today, and he said that the mailboxes have to be moved from where they are because he can't access them because of the barricade being there, so they need to be moved onto the north side of that temporary road.
On the north side? Mm-hmm. Have you heard anything about that, Ross?
Yeah, I think there was a discussion today, and I think they've already been moved. I think they need to move, post office will deliver us.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Hannah. Anyone else?
Val Hauer, asking if there was a date set for Hummel to get those garages out of there. I just think it might be holding up Lieber Construction, so maybe you'll discuss it later, but.
The garage is on North Shore?
Do we have
Yeah, those
a
on North
grading
Shore, they were
report
supposed to
coming
be-
up?
Yeah,
on
there's
the
a grading
agenda?
report.
Yeah, I think we will address that in the
But
grading
Okay.
the,
report.
the ones on
It was North
North Shore shouldn't be holding up phase two of what what
It
Lieber.
just said Lieber would come back when that is ready to do and do the
Yeah,
other, so
yeah.
it just seems like it might be holding him up, you know. so
June
when he
1st
comes
was,
back.
June 1st was the date, but
Yeah,
he's
so-
got them up on wheels. They'll be moving soon.
It's gonna be harder for him to move out now with all the construction.
They're going west, I think. Hmm?
Now that the road's taken out, it's gonna be a little bit harder for him. Because now there's a bump that he's gonna have to go down and then.
I'd say that's Hummel's problem.
3 of the 4 are gone already. Yeah.
Oh, they are?
Yes.
Well, there you go.
Okay. And Ross, I'm assuming that'll be part of the property grading report you have coming up? Okay, thank you. Anyone else? All right, moving on to the agenda. First item is Explore Siouxland, who I believe Stacy Anderson is here with a presentation.
Pass them down.
Perfect, okay. Stacy Anderson, Explore Siouxland Executive Director. And Andrew Neal just asked that I come and present to you guys, but I also love it to be a little dialogue, so if there's specific questions and things that you would like to know, love for those, to entertain those questions. But as hopefully many of you know, Explore Siouxland has been around since 2019. However, that was right before COVID. So very quickly, what we were doing kind of got slowed down and shut down. And then over the last few years, we've had an executive director and a very small staff, and that all changed about a year ago. And so as of the last year, things have been a little tumultuous. We've had some changeover. We had a really great hire, Tyler Dowtry, but he got a dream job with the general manager of Field of Dreams and left us in December. So I was brought on beginning of January, so still fairly new in this position. At that time, had no staff, just through that changeover, lost some people and things had shifted. So as of that time, I've got 2 new staff, people hired that I'm really enjoying and just brag on all the time. So Angela Timmons is our Director of Sales and Services. She has about 5 years of experience in sales with Stony Creek. This has been a huge thing as far as being able to communicate well to our hotel partners, because we are basically funded by city partnerships, and then also what's called a DMF, which is a destination marketing fee. So that is a fee that is taken on by those who stay at our partner hotels, which currently we have 11 of those. So she speaks their language. We've really just in the last, she was hired on January 26th, we've really been able to build those relationships and get a lot more going on in that respect. The other hire was Denise Chaudhry. She is from the Colorado area, but has been in Sioux City for about 2 years, and she actually, I love saying this because she chose us over Sioux Falls. They actually looked at moving from Colorado to Sioux Falls and thought our little Siouxland area was much more quaint, the people were nicer, and so I always lead that in her introductions, but her and her husband had a marketing agency, so very, very strongly skilled in marketing, and then a little bit of a niche in branding. And so with those two coming on, one of the things that we felt we really needed to do as Explore Siouxland was, we're rebuilding, reinventing, but we needed to pull everybody together. I think that is something I have seen as a resident of this area, born and raised here, is too often we work in silos. And I'm not just talking about our individual communities, but even within a city, different organizations. And so it's been really an important, and probably my highest priority, is to start getting better collaboration, better communication amongst everyone. And so recently, and I sent out an invitation to all of you, is that we did a branding meeting. We had that at the Sioux City Arts Center, brought in, invited leaders from all the communities, EDs from all of our attractions, hotelier partners, to really start that conversation, which will be an ongoing conversation, but who are we as a community? Who are we trying to bring in as far as this is leisure travel, events and meetings, sporting events, and to be able to really solidify that messaging. With that being said, we also want to still allow, obviously each community needs to have their own unique identity as well. But this is, just to clarify, this is really allowing us to do that overarching messaging when we are out doing sales, trade shows, and when we do our RFPs, right? We need to really distill that down and make it a quick, because a lot of these trade shows we go to, we might get maybe 5 to 7 minutes to pitch each of these things. So we need that messaging and really are encouraging ongoing communication with all of you guys with that. So that is a big thing. We are working on our brand. What is that regional story that we can tell, that branding part, really increasing visibility in what we do. So I think historically this was a miss, but also by design. So DMOs, or destination marketing organizations, the intention is that your organization, those dollars get spent 50 miles out to bring visitors in. But when every single penny and everything you're doing is spent 50 miles out, nobody in your community knows who you are, that you exist. So that was another initiative I had out of the gate is I brought Bill Geist in, who is a destination marketing expert. We did some public events. We've been trying to do more education on who we are so that everybody knows, and also can be an advocate for our community, right? So people come in to visit and you recognize they're outsiders. Welcome them, tell them all the places they can go, and keep them here longer. So we're working on that. Also, we're going to have our first one here coming up soon, a regional marketing roundtable. So all that means, if you're a partner, which all of you guys are, once a month we will have marketing meetings. You can send somebody, come to those meetings, and again, she's an expert, so if there's things you don't know how to do, she can tell you, but more importantly, it's so we all know what's going on in each other's worlds and can help bring that out, and again, to create that overarching message so that somebody on the outside, no matter where it's coming from, there's some sort of a Siouxland branding that pulls that back together. We are also doing a shared digital library, which will be really great. I believe Andrew just sent me a few pictures here recently, but what that means is, like when we are trying to promote, or you guys are trying to promote something, instead of having to spend the money and the time and have someone create those assets, they will be in there and they're really accessible to you guys. You could literally go in and you can pull out images. So as we're spending money and shooting them, or someone else is, they're all going in there and it's a collective space that we can all use those assets to, again, to just try to make everybody's dollars go a little further. And then the other thing is we have launched, and it's on there now, if you go to our Explore Siouxland website, we have what I believe is our first truly community calendar. So this took us several months to put together, quite a bit of money, but it is this company there, it's an agent of Google. So it will literally, we gave them 30 Facebook pages to start with, as well as it knows how to grab, I don't fully understand this tech world, but it knows how to grab any events within the parameters that we give it, puts it in to our space, and then every about 72 hours, Denise goes in and will approve or deny those events. But we have so many parameters that we keep tweaking over the last couple of months so that pretty much everything that's coming in now gets approved. So all of your events should be on that. Let us know if they're not. We do have a quick link if you need to get something added on there. Okay, can you flip to the next slide? Thank you. Actually, okay, so a lot of what we are offering, just so you guys are aware with your partnership with us, we are building a brand new website right now, another skill that Denise has. It's going to be really, really effective as far as the user, which is something I think it's lacked. We really put ourselves into what does that traveler, that person coming into the community, what do they need, what are they looking for in a really good funnel. You guys will have, and these are all the different pages. We're just starting to kind of lay out what this will look like and building, we're hoping in the next 90 to 120 days before launching. But those are pages that you guys will have presence on, from attractions to places to eat and drink, to your events, itineraries, things of that nature. Also be included in our visitor guide, which we produce every year, will come out in January. So not only visuals, but content as well, creation. And again, this is where we want to have a lot of communication. What do you guys want us to spotlight? Please share that. We'll put that in there. Social media promotions. We are actually currently working on completing a contract we should have done the next couple days with Chatterkick too, because they are the best of the best in this community as far as digital social goes in there. And then obviously I will come as often as you guys need me to share things. I will be in future meetings bringing Denise and Angela, because I would like them to share, especially if there's marketing data and numbers. I want you guys to really have a good feel for the reach and what we're doing in those areas. But on the other side of that, you'll see just some additional things too from, if you guys have events, we can promote those, featured in our newsletter. We have a monthly newsletter. We also do a lot of association memberships. We go to a lot of trade shows, all of those things. Again, we can represent you. Again, we should have conversations before we go. If there's any collateral, things like that you want us to share, we can do all of that. Next, please. This is just real quick, like what we're already doing. I mean, things that we're promoting. Again, would love to hear if there should be other things, but, Adams Nature Center and Preserve is huge. One of the things that we've really distilled down in our branding conversations is this area is really known for its majestic beauty, right? The nature, from Stonehill to Luss Hills, you name it. I mean, Luss Hills, there's no other place like that on the planet other than China. Two spots have that geological structure, so it's just beautiful. So that's one that we're going to be covering. Obviously, with our RFPs and trying to get events here, that CNOS Field House, right? Have been and will continue to work to drive events to that for you, McCook Lake, and you guys do currently have a hotel that is one of our partners. And then on the next page, which we won't go into, but just so you have it, these are all the benefits, and we keep talking about adding more about every other week for that hotel partner. And next page. And our roadmap. So where we're at right now, again, new team, building, going strong with building a new website, content creators. We just came back from Midwest Travel Network, which is content creation, again, and working on picking some people that can come in that have huge followings in the travel world, and using some of their content, rebranding our RFPs, again, just to continue to strengthen those, to get better closing rates on trying to get events here. And I think the feedback we've had from some of this, because that's the big thing for me is with my staff, is I don't care if we don't get something, but we better know why, so we can do better next time. So just doing a lot of follow-up, getting a lot of data, and some of that feedback already has been, well, this and that is great, the RFP is great, but we need to know more about the community. So we need these conversations, we need these relationships to really find out what it is that you want us to bring forward in those RFPs. And again, I've already talked about building the identity and the roundtables and all of that. So that's it. I'd love if there's questions for me I can entertain. No?
One thing that I would say that Andrew and I talked about with you was the importance of the CNOS Fieldhouse for this community. You know, I go there for my son's basketball games, and there are a lot of people there. I think it's an opportunity for the city to capitalize on that with its other businesses in town, to be able to draw from that. And one of the things, as we try to go to a more data-driven model of management here at the city, I think the Convention and Visitors Bureau could really help us build marketing data, market data. And then also, I think you have access to Placer AI, which is something that Chris has showed us. And I think there's some huge value to that as we try to figure out where the people are coming from, where they're going after they come to the field house, where they're coming from for basketball games, where they're going after that. And from that data, we can start formulating better strategy and bring in our other businesses in to try to capitalize on that. I think they're in a unique position to kind of help us in that arena. We need to continue to leverage these kind of resources so that we can help our businesses grow. You know, a lot of times we focus our economic development efforts on that big new business coming to town, but we also need to remember that there's a lot of businesses in town right now, and we need to help them build capacity. And I think this is one way that we could do that, by providing better market data and better opportunities for them in conjunctions with all the basketball tournaments and volleyball tournaments and everything that comes into that is probably our biggest draw here. Dakota Valley sports events is big too. I was at a track meet this spring, and there was just a lot of people there from all over the place, and I was hoping they wouldn't leave town before spending a little bit of money, and I would really like some help trying to formulate some of that stuff.
Thank you, Jeff, for bringing that up. I meant to talk about that. There's so much, and I'm like, I don't want to consume the whole afternoon here, but the Placer, ironically, I literally dropped off the $30,000 check at the post office on the way here. So very expensive tool, but a very good tool. And again, if we're spending that kind of money, I would love to be able to share that, that resource with all of our partners. So yes, if anybody has questions how that works, I can answer that. But it's down to your cell phone. Like if you go into a space, it pings it knows that you're there, and it counts numbers. We know how many people attend an event. We know what I love is where they come from, because it goes off of their zip code for that phone account. It even can go down to as far as like, if it sees you coming there often, and it can tell the difference between, well, they must work there. So even if they don't live there, so then it will remove you, because it really wants to know unique out-of-town visitors, and it pulls that, but it gives us a lot of data. And so those reports we can provide, and I know we talked about that, Jeff and Andrew, about even adding, because I can also, early on, I can input some places, so that will constantly check those for us. So we had a list, I want to say about 5 or 6 of those places for that. So that's a tool. And then the other thing that we are encouraging and want to help with too is, like, to your point, like, let's stack events. So if you know an event's coming there, you want people to stay, like, is there a way to, if you've got anything else coming up, or can you plan things that you can have? Because again, if you can tell that story and they're like, oh, well, I come for this game, but they're going to have a little concert the following night or something else, that's where you're going to get your hotel stays, you're going to get the extra tax dollars infused into your community. And with that, we are also working on, as a team, building more itineraries so that people, and that's going to be a lot of our website, and then we'll pass those out. So if they're at hotels, my hope is that whoever's at that front desk, and anybody, everybody at the hotel's like, hey, what are you guys doing? What do you love? If you love something, hey, while you're here, if you love this, stay. We've got this, and that, and it's got 1, 2, 3 day itineraries to really entice people. Maybe that's even something that gets sent out before, so that they plan and they book to stay longer. But we're working on all of those things. Half the trick is getting them here, and then you want to keep them once you get them, right? So,
And the Siouxland Sports Academy is another example that uses the field house. And we had a great partnership with them this summer on the summer rec program. I think that can grow, partnering with them on their events that they have at the field house so that we could get information about our community in the hands of the people that are attending that. So I would recommend that we move forward with this memorandum and get them on board and know that Andrew and I will be working with Stacy to try to get the benefit of that 10,000.
and the last thing I would mention too is I just came from our board meeting, and the board in general wanted to throw out to you guys too, like if anybody from North Sioux, whether it's you guys or an extension of, like, would like a seat on our board, we do have room to grow our board a little bit more. So if you guys want even more representation, we would welcome you for that too. So just wanted to throw that out there.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the MOU between us and Explore Sealand.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. Thank you,
Thank
Stacy.
you for your time.
Thanks, Stacy.
All right, next, flood recovery, North Shore reconstruction update.
All right. Thank you, guys. For tonight's meeting, we have our engineer's report that we submitted again. This is similar format to the one we presented at our last commission meeting. This one does go on, provide a little bit more detail on some of the design projects that we're working on or other active contracts that we have with you guys. So first off, the North Shore Drive reconstruction project. Obviously, that's our biggest focus right now. Approximately 18% complete with that project. We'll have a second pay app approved tonight. Biggest work item right now, our focus is getting the utilities installed so that the utility contractor's out of the way for the grading, cement stabilization of the subgrade, and then we can get Reedy in to pave as soon as they can. Right now, we are sitting a little bit behind schedule, and we've been diligently following up with the contractor on ways to increase production, more or less. So, you know, the utility contractor is committed to staying down here during the week so they can increase their production hours. So they're starting a little earlier and staying a little later into the evening. Starting this week, they have 2 utility crews on site, and I think they plan to continue that for at least the next few weeks until they can kind of get out of this phase 1, and I would consider phase 1 anything east of Penrose Drive on North Shore. So that's kind of their focus for the next 2 weeks, is trying to get all of those utilities done in that stretch. Then they'll push, you know, continue working west as the other grading contractors and paving contractors can follow up on that east side and get going there. So that's kind of what's going on the North Shore project. Flood property grading.
Can I ask, I'm sorry. I didn't-
Yep, go ahead.
Can I ask what's caused the delays?
Um,
We're only 18% complete, I just was wondering.
I
Like aluminum.
think
low
they
number.
didn't start as early as we anticipated them starting. It seemed like, you know, we had contracts ready to go in, gosh, was that March? Can't remember exactly when we bid, but it seemed like it just took them a while to show up initially. I think that was the first cause of the delay. And I think there was miscommunication between subcontractors and the prime contractors as far as their expectations for schedule. That's kind of what it seems to be.
One of the things that's really held up the utility was installing all that mat so they could raise the lake.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's,
they pulled off the utilities to do the mats for the lake so that they could, at least half, the first half of it, so they could raise the lake. Now they're back there, plus we lost 2 days on the gas main debacle. But like Ross said, you know, we have, they're working 12 hours a day with 2 shifts, 2 crews. So that should get in, and we're trying to hold them to a linear feet of pipe now instead of just days, so I'm confident that they'll get back on track now with the two crews.
Yeah,
I think rain, we've had some substantial rain when you're trying to do dirt work and.
It wasn't as bad as
below grade.
Penrose, but, it wasn't as bad as Penrose, we're raining every other day, but
Makes a
Yeah.
mess.
They didn't do any grinding today because one of their guys got hurt pretty bad.
I didn't hear that.
yeah. So I think it's a number of things have caused the delays. But I think in our conversations, we had a bi-weekly progress meeting this morning, and Rady still fully expects to hit their completion date. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just staying on track to hit those dates will be key, so. Then going on to the flood property grading project, the Phase 1 project that Lieber started a while back has kind of been on pause for the last month or so. Waiting for these garages to get moved primarily is the reason for that. We have been in contact with Lieber, just kind of checking in to see when they plan on mobilizing back in. And actually, they did move equipment back over to the city's staging area, I think it was last Friday, in anticipation of starting that work again here shortly. The flood property grading project Phase 2, contracts are complete, have been executed fully now. And I think whenever Lieber shows up to do the Phase 1 project, they're just gonna kind of keep rolling with the Phase 2 as well. So that's where we'll see a lot of the dirt coming back on the north side of North Shore.
So could we have not have moved on to Phase 2 while we were waiting for Phase 1 to, I mean, if they were waiting for the garages, could we not have gone on Phase 2?
Phase 2, we didn't have the contracts in place until just recently.
And plus, I think Lieber wants to mow one time,
Yeah.
he doesn't want to mow back and forth.
What is the status of there's one house left to move?
There's one garage left,
One garage left.
and that one's up on, I don't know if it's on blocks or wheels, I guess, but it's,
You need more wheels, you need to dump one off and bring more wheels back, the way I understood it.
so hopefully that'll move quickly out of the way. And I think actually the first area where Lieber's going to come back and work on is on the east end of North Shore and finish that, that lot we added to the grading project Phase 1. So that's probably where they're going to start. So that garage is probably not as big of a deal right now anyway.
And what's the completion date on these two? Phase 1 and Phase 2?
Phase 2, or, well, I've got it in here. Phase 1 substantial completion is July 5th. It was initially going to be in early June, and then we had to push it back when we added more work to the project. Flood property grading Phase 2, they have up until September 4th to finish Phase 1 of that project, which is everything north of North Shore Drive. So there's still plenty of time for them to get that done. And then the overall completion date for that is December 4th. Any other questions on those two active construction projects? Otherwise, the other stuff you'll see in this engineer's report, River Drive Lift Station, we're at a 95% complete with design of that, and construction documents are made. We submitted to the DANR for their approvals, but they won't provide comments until we have a funding source determined. We've been trying to get them to give us some initial comments anyway, but so far haven't succeeded. Centennial Drive Lift Station, we're now progressing into final design of that project. I'd say we're about 50% complete with that design. So we'll be working on construction documents over the coming couple months. I think we should have 100% plan, or 95% plans, probably a month and a half from now, ready to review. North Shore Bypass Project, that's technically an DOT contract, but that one, I think we're progressing with the land acquisition and looking at bidding that as soon as the DOT wants to. So hopefully sooner rather than later. Union Crossing construction observation, we've just been doing some of the construction observation with that project. You know, construction is essentially complete with that, so no current activity there. But we did recently receive plans for Phase 1B, which would be the rest of the residential area on the north side. So we're reviewing those plans, and whenever they're ready to move forward, we'll probably be participating in more construction observation for that. Design standards and design and zoning standard updates. We've been working with city staff, helping find some of the zoning regulations and design standards that needed updates. I think we met last week, kind of went through the first package of what we're hoping to kick off in the end of this month or early July, bringing those to the public and to you guys for your consideration, comments, and then hopefully moving forward with approval of some of those updates. And then the last page just has some inactive projects, which is the wastewater treatment or water treatment plant facility upgrade. We did actually just have a 1-year warranty inspection this week, though, on that project. There's a couple items that need to be addressed, so we'll be following up with those with Rusty on those. The levee project's on hold while we're waiting for results from the GI study with the Corps of Engineers. And then forest account, I'm not going to go into all those details, but you can kind of see some of the miscellaneous items we've been working on there.
Just a quick update on this. The CDBG DR money or grant has been submitted last Friday. The EDA grants that we submitted on the lift stations have made it through the committee or the headquarters phase, and now they're in what they call a curing, a 30-day curing phase, which they can ask more questions on. I would say that's looking promising, but not final yet. So hopefully in the next 30 to 45 days, we should find out there. The award of the EDA money will open up the opportunity for us to do other projects like Military Road and the North Shore Bypass lift station. So that's a big pivot point for us right now. Let's see how EDA does, and we can go from there.
And what's the timetable for CDBG DR?
I think they have 60 days.
About 60 days.
Yeah. I don't think it'll take them that long, but I think they have 60 days. And once that funding's secure, then we can start bidding out these lift station projects and moving the other ones forward.
Any other questions for Ross?
Okay. If not, then we'll move on to the next item, which is North Shore Drive reconstruction pay application number 2. Stockwell Engineers is presenting pay app number 2 for the North Shore Drive reconstruction project to Reedy Construction. The amount for this pay period is $433,221.41. Most of that's utility work, a little bit more of the mobilizations being paid out there, and then some of the grading work, and I think block mat, the concrete block mat installation is included with that, so.
I'll make the motion to approve pay estimate number 2.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Thanks, Ross.
Thank you.
Next item is consideration of McCook Lake Flood Recovery Tax Increment Financing District Number 6. Resolution 2026-19, a resolution of necessity, creation, and approval of tax increment district number 6, planned for the city of North Sioux City. So Jeff, maybe I'll give kind of a high-level explanation of this program. I think we've all met on this, but just for everyone's sake. And then we also have our TIF consultant, Toby Morris, is on Teams with us right now, so if we have questions for him, and we probably have Toby explain a little bit too, while we've got him. But as most of you know, our Phase 1 of flood recovery, we purchased about 16 lots from those folks whose homes were completely destroyed, those who wanted to sell. Spent about $4 million doing that. And I think it helped a lot of people. A lot of people were able to at least get rid of their mortgages or close to it. But we didn't really do anything for those who were heavily damaged, that want to stay and rebuild and improve. So this phase, the thought was while the assessed values, a lot of the people's assessed values who are on North Shore and Penrose, the assessed values are down significantly from where they were before. And we lost about $6.6 million in assessed value because of that flood. So right now there's a window of opportunity. While those assessed values are low, if we create a tax increment financing district in that area, as people rebuild and spend money on their homes, the new taxes created from that, we can capture those and redirect them back to homeowners in the form of forgivable loans. And that way, when people are redoing their houses and we are incentivizing them to get our tax base back up to where it was pre-flood. So we're trying to get that $6.6 million of tax value back. So the idea is a tax increment financing district, and there's a boundary map here, and I know all of the commissioners have discussed this. We've met with the school board. We've met with who else? Can't remember who else
I met with the county.
The county. So maybe we could allow Toby to explain, unless you wanted to start,
So
Jeff.
let me just cover a couple points here. And when Chris says Chris and I met with each commissioner individually. We didn't meet in a group. And then we met with the school board to kind of go over this with them. Maybe I'll let Toby talk about the nature of the TIF. Toby, are you still there?
I am still here.
Okay. I'll let you talk a little bit about the nature of the TIF and what that means overall. But as Chris said, we lost about $6.6 million in taxable value from what it was valued at in June of '24, just say May of '24, to what is assessed at now. And like you said, of that $6.6 million, that should generate about $2 million of revenue over the next 20 years. And if you go to page 19, Amy, and just show that. Right, back one, right there. That top chart there shows, if you take the current mill levy, apply it to that $6.6 million increment, it raises about $2 million over 20 years. What the commission can do with that is we'll take that money in to our general fund over the course of 20 years, and we will put out some or all of that back to the residents that are eligible for this program. You want to go to the map? So this is very similar to any other TIF where we tax the increment. Instead of that increment going to the taxing bodies, it'll come to the city of North Sioux City, which we will create a fund that we will be able to fund this program through. Here is the map showing the boundaries of the TIF. This is basically where the water washed through from the river, washing into Cook Lake. You see the ones, that little tooth, the teeth, I'll call them, those are city lots that we bought and are not included in the TIF. So the tax we generate the incremental tax we generate as the taxes come back online from this area will be used to fund this program. Now, the commission will need to decide if this TIF resolution passes and if it makes it through the 20-day comment period, then the commission will have to decide the parameters for which to put that money out. But the first step is see if we can make sure that that money is available for the city. Like I said, it's going to generate $2 million. The commission will have to decide if they want to put out that whole $2 million, or do they want to put out a portion of that, knowing that if we had that $2 million, we would have earned interest on it, that kind of stuff. Or if we borrowed the money, we'd have to pay the interest, and so that whole $2 million wouldn't be available. But those are decisions we can make along with the eligibility requirements, the payback requirements, and all that stuff after the TIF is established. We can do this, we can distribute the money through our Housing Redevelopment Commission, or we can do it directly from the city, depending on how you guys decide you want to do that. But the TIF district, and I'll turn it over to Toby now, and if you wouldn't mind kind of talking through the Union Crossing TIF was an affordable housing TIF. This one would be a local TIF, and maybe just kind of explain the differences there so the commissioners and everybody can understand that real quick.
You bet. Would you like me to go then, Jeff?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you, Mayor, members of the council. On a couple different points, first I'll point out, unfortunately, this is not, or fortunately, I guess you might say, it's not precedent setting. We did something very similar in Fort Pierre. If you remember back in 2011, as you guys went through something similar like the Dunes, we established a TIF at that time to really give direction, or the city to take direction where they want to spend the money. This is city-controlled, city-owned. I think, again, it's one of the best uses of a TIF is when you have the city involved like you are on this part and where it goes. And so we try to make it as open but precise as possible of what those increments may look like. I would say they're projections at this time, just when we think we understand property tax, the legislature is adjusting it one way or the other. And so we took our best estimate based on where we see those valuations going, work very closely hand in hand with the county to understand those valuations. And unlike the Union Crossing, there's a couple different classifications of a TIF. You can have the affordable housing like Union Crossing, economic development, industrial, and the last catch-all is what's considered the local. Regardless of the four classifications, the school district's always made whole. It's just a matter of who's making it whole. In this case, what happens is when the increment is generated, instead of being equalized or subsidized by the state, it's spread over the school district valuation. Now, that's well into the billions. So when we did a calculation really looking at what that increment might be on a couple $100,000 house, it really comes out to just a few dollars. And that's because you're spreading it over like $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 valuation. It's important to point out because, yes, it is an increase. On the same hand, when Senate Bill 245 goes into effect in 2027, the average owner-occupied home is going to receive a 15 to 20% reduction. So, a $300,000 home may increase $150 because of this TIF, but they're probably going to decrease, $500 to $800 on their overall tax because of what Senate Bill 245 has done. At the end, I would say the city is, quote unquote, the developer. You are the ones that would provide the direction of how you see that fit. We've run it by bond counsel. It's legal there. Department of Revenue has signed off on it. And I would just stand by to take any questions on that, Jeff or the mayor.
Thanks, Toby. The $2 million that this TIF would generate and the amount that you would put out isn't going to make anybody whole, but it will assist in some of the costs that they have incurred to bring their house back to the value. It would the $6 million in increment, that's made up of each individual property here and their difference in valuation. So each property has a percentage of that $6 million in valuation. And maybe that's how the money would be distributed, on a percentage basis, on a prorated basis. You know, a couple other eligibility things we've talked about is that you'd have to be the owner of the property when the event happened. You couldn't have bought it afterwards. You'd have to show if you were getting $50,000, you'd have to show $50,000 worth of expenditures. The loan would be a loan, but it could be forgivable once the taxable value reaches its original value, and that loan would be then forgiven. So those are some of the criteria that we're working towards to get this program out the door. And once this is approved, we'll bring those criteria to establish a program and a method to get those dollars out. But like I said, we will have to take money out of the reserves to fund this project up front, knowing that we'll get paid back over 20 years through this TIF district. So the TIF district is just a means to fund the program.
And one of the questions that came up was, why don't we make the TIF district bigger or extend it all the way, to the end of the canal? One of the reasons is the assessed values didn't go down much as you go west toward the canal. A lot of them had basement damage and had significant damage, but their assessed values didn't change much. So there's not much increment to gain. This is where we can really gain increment to fund the program, is the ones that were the most heavily damaged. So that's the reason for this boundary. And so if you do hear that from people, why isn't it a bigger TIF district? There's not a lot of increment to gain by making it bigger. So that was one of the comments.
So this has been presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission last Wednesday. We had a public hearing at that time. There was no public comment. The Planning and Zoning Commissioners approved a resolution that recommends the TIF plan and approves this boundary, and that's their duty per state law. And now it comes to you for consideration. If you were to approve the resolution, it would have 20-day comment once it's published, which won't be until next Friday, right, Amy? And then 20 days after that, if it's not referred, we could bring the distribution plan back to you, or the program plan back to you.
Any other questions on the program?
The only comment that I would make is, I think this is a great opportunity for those residences that were severely damaged and said, we're staying here. And so I just think it's a very good opportunity.
I'll make the motion to approve TIF District Number 6 as presented.
Second.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Thanks for joining us, Toby.
Thanks, everyone.
Next up, planning and zoning update.
So yeah, we've had one planning and zoning meeting since the last commission meeting. At that meeting, we talked about this TIF plan that just was approved at the planning commission level after a public hearing. And now you guys have approved it. The other item on the agenda for that meeting was approval of the plat of lots 103 through 106 of Track 4 River Valley Edition. That we'll have further down in the agenda for you guys to approve tonight, hopefully. And that's really all I have for updates on the planning and zoning side.
Okay, do we need to open a public hearing for this?
Yes, we
Okay,
do
I
for the
guess
next
I'll
item.
look for a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, the public hearing for Union Crossing infrastructure acceptance for residential Phase 1A and commercial phase is open.
And I'll be the first to comment, I guess, and provide a little background. So PBR and their contractors and engineers have been working diligently on completing the Union Crossing subdivision. We had a list of punch list items that we asked them to complete before we would accept the project. All of those items were addressed, and final inspection was conducted in May to verify completion of all those items. And after that, we issued a letter of completion, and then kind of started this process towards accepting the infrastructure. So what we're presenting following this public hearing portion will be a resolution of acceptance of that infrastructure. We have provided an estimate of the value of all that infrastructure that will be accepted. We have as-built or record drawings of the infrastructure that was constructed. And I think we have the letter of final completion included with that as well. So if you guys do choose to accept the public infrastructure after the public hearing is complete, that will start the warranty process, and then that infrastructure will be the city's to maintain thereafter. So,
Thanks,
After
Ross.
the warranty period.
yes.
Any other comments on the resolution?
I'll make the motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, close the public hearing. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
I'll make the motion to approve the resolution.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries.
We are working with PBR on a joint ribbon cutting, probably mid-July or so. So look forward to that as well.
And then you want to present the approval of plats?
Yeah. So this was a plat that was considered at the last Planning Commission meeting submitted by Brandon Wager of Wager Built LLC. It's a plat for lots 103 through 106 of Tract 4 River Valley Addition to the city of North Sioux City. This was for a townhome, a 4-unit townhome that was approved previously by the Planning Commission with a conditional use permit that was also approved. So the completion, or the structures are mostly complete at this point. And now they want to move forward with the platting so that they can start to look at selling these units. So it was recommended for approval by the Planning Commission on June 10th, and looking for your guys' consideration tonight.
I'll make the motion to approve the plat as presented.
Second?
Any other discussion? All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ross. Next up, North Sioux Economic Development, Resolution 2026-20, approval of land transfer for ready loan security.
Yeah, so back when the city and North Sioux City Economic Development took out a ready fund loan to help purchase all the land up in what will become the River Bend Business Park, the state took this parcel that you're looking at here, parcel tract 1 of that addition as collateral, along with some other smaller tracts throughout the development. A recent credit review of the Ready Fund by the Ready Fund auditors indicated that they felt that this loan was undersecured, under-collateralized, and they asked North Sioux City Economic Development to do an appraisal, reappraise the property, and try to come up with a solution to bring more value to the collateral. In that effort, the North Sioux City Economic Development has requested that we swap them. Right now, we own, right now, the Ready Fund has Tract 1 as collateral up on top. What we would propose to do here is swap that parcel for the bigger parcel here, Tract, what is that, 3?
6.
It's Tract 6. And provide that as collateral for the Ready Fund loan. That will fully secure the loan and bring us back into compliance. So we're transferring one, we're transferring them, and then one of the Tract 1 will be taken off the security list, and Tract 6 will be put on. Tract 6 is a bigger tract, more value, thus the loan-to-value ratio is correct. Our only other alternative here is to pay off the loan early, which we don't want to do.
I'll make the motion to approve Resolution 2026-20.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next up, May financial statements.
So our cash is, for the month, down about $141,000. We had talked at the last commission meeting about closing out our South Dakota Fit and our wealth management and bringing all the money locally to our Liberty National and People's Banks. The wealth management has been closed, or was closed out by the end of May and transferred over. Most of South Dakota Fit, except a little interest that was remaining, was moved over. Currently, we have the CDs in place. They weren't at the end of May, so that's not shown on here. So, and we didn't have the Liberty National money market broke down in here yet either, but that's all been, I think we've gotten all of our signatures in this during June to get that all taken care of. With the new Union Crossing stuff that we just did, the 2026-18 that was approved, that valuation will be added in here to the total capital assets, and it'll be added to the investment in general fixed assets, which is down in the net position. So that amount will be reflected on our balance sheet here, increasing our net position. For our cash flow, cash from operating for May was up $767,000. And for year-to-date, up 1.7. Our expenditures in the capital and related financing activities were for sewer projects, the North Shore bypass, and for flood recovery. We did start in May. We paid all the interest and surcharges on our water loan that had accrued since we first started borrowing money. And now our loan will start being paid off quarterly beginning August 15th. So we'll be paying both water and sewer loans. So with the capital figured in, we're up 141 overall for May and down 17,000 year-to-date. Any questions on that?
I think so.
Okay, then we have 2 more new employees with the city. Hopefully we'll be done for a while. Jacqueline Hansen started as Library Assistant 1 on June 15th at $20.50, and Tina Neerman will be starting next Monday, June 22nd, as the Accounts Payable Clerk or Finance Assistant 2 position here at $22.55.
I'll make a motion to approve the new employees,
I make a motion that we approve the hires.
or I'll second it.
You're too quiet. All right, any other discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And look for a motion to approve the bills.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And we'll look for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, meeting's adjourned.
I really love this